Oh, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Well, the woods of Middle Tennessee. Yep, the home. Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash, all sorts of cool people. Alvin York, and probably some people I can't name. Yeah, are from Tennessee or lived here a long time. They're not necessarily from here, having been born here, but we have a lot of folks that come to Tennessee. And we're glad you're here today in Tennessee. You're in the woods right with me today. So pretty cool. Hope you got your tick spray on. Spring is sort of on the way here. And, you got to watch out for the bugs. It's that time of year. And again, glad you came by. Yeah, just a few of my friends, here in the woods, and we can chat, right? And of course, there'll be a couple of trolls, right? So we'll ignore them. Got to ignore trolls. You just have to. They're always around. They're always under the bridge. Yeah, they really are, no matter who you are and what you do. But anyway, just thought I'd check in. It's been about a month, I guess. And you know me, I like to come to the woods or the reloading room or somewhere and just chat with you. Okay, catch up. Because I tend to like to yak, I guess. Ironically, I was a shy, quiet teenager for the most part, and here I find myself yakking all the time these days, at least on camera, right, for you guys. Sharing my knowledge, right, yeah, both pieces of my knowledge, whatever that might be. But things are going great on this end. Hope it's going well for you. It's not always going well for anybody all the time, is it? But for right now, things are going very well for us, and with what we're doing in this endeavor, the growth is exponential. It's crazy. It's almost double what it was a couple months ago at time. I don't know where all these people come from, you people, but we're glad you're here. Don't know how you heard about us exactly where. I mean, word of mouth, obviously. That internet thing is the ultimate word of mouth. So those thousands of you all new people that come in every day, welcome. Welcome. Hope there's something here for you. There might not be. There might not be. It may not be your cup of tea, because we do things a little bit differently. It's not slick. It's not exciting every minute. We don't edit things and try to put together 10 minutes or 20 minutes of 15 highly exciting segments, extremely well edited and performed and perfected. If I say the wrong thing, I misspeak, don't speak clearly, or John when he's doing it. If we don't just, we don't really have that option the way we do things, and we don't really want to have that option. We talked about that before, you and I, here in the woods or somewhere in the field. In the reloading room, how we do things and why, the ones who've been around. So everybody needs to remember that, not just me. I have trouble keeping that in mind sometimes, especially when you see comments that seem clueless. Well, of course they're going to be clueless. They're going to be clueless people in terms of what we are doing and how we do things. So just imagine, it's almost like starting a new channel every day, or creating a new small channel every freaking day. With like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 new people, lots of days. And so, wow, no kidding. I guess there will be some questions. And again, for you new folks and old folks who were negligent, remember the FAQ videos. I think I've got a few of those are not in the playlist. Forget about playlists unless it's FAQ videos. Some of the basics, I need to go back. Some of those I could fix enough to where they'd be useful. But most of the FAQ videos are in the playlist, and plus they're numbered. We answer almost everything, new folks, in the FAQ videos. They're short, like kind of a high interest, sometimes humorous, like 30-second videos. Okay, so it's not like you watch all these 80-some 20-minute videos to figure out who we are and what we're. In fact, you can kind of look down through the listing of them, and you'll see in the title what it addresses. Was I in the military? How far is the going? All these different things that people ask repeatedly, right? It's actually in the title, and a lot of them, and you can either open it, sometimes you don't even have to. It might answer it in the title of the FAQ video. So Anyway, not a lot of new folks, which is great. I mean, that's kind of our mission, you know. We haven't written a mission statement. We just sort of know and always have what our mission is since the very beginning, when we realized people, had any interest in what we're doing, because we started out just kind of fooling around. Got to remember 7, 8, 10, 11 years ago. Nobody was trying to start a career or become famous on YouTube, or make money on YouTube. Didn't even know you could make money at all, even from AdSense. I wasn't aware of that. I think most people were not. And finally, after, I don't know how long it was, 6 months, or it wasn't a year, I guess. But anyway, we got to, I think, 1,000 subscribers. Got an email about that one, if we want to be a partner and share in the ad revenue. Right? Really? What, a nickel? So we were clueless about all that. Didn't know there was any possibility of that. So anyway, I remind you and myself of that, and it's just kind of how this thing started. It was just what's the word everybody used today, organic or something. It's just kind of what we've always done: shoot, enjoy firearms, and video some of it, and then this sort of grew out of that for you new folks. Okay, it wasn't like a lot of folks are today, just trying to, man, I want to get a channel going somewhere, doing something on Instagram or whatever, and get a piece of this whatever it is, money or fame, quote unquote, or just whatever, a career, maybe make some money, make a second job, income. And so I guess we're different from a lot of folks just because we've been around so long. And but that's how it got going. And if you listen, if you have a lot of time on your hand, listen to all the 100 radio shows that are there, and all the vlogs, as I call them, just to aggravate people. And these shooting the breezes, there's not a lot of secrets, because by the time we yak all those hours, it's hard to hide anything, right? So anyway, things are going great, and we're happy. And in fact, we picked up a new sponsor. The cool thing too, lately, we've talked with YouTube some, recent year or two, had our issues with them. They are not, I don't know if you realize this, it used to be you weren't even supposed to say the word sponsor, really. You're supposed to just live on your AdSense, and tread lightly if you were making anything any other way. Well, it's kind of reversed now that the AdSense, speaking of money, making money on YouTube, now that's going away, at least for gun videos. It's interesting, I've been watching some of the videos on another topic lately, and all these ads pop up all the time, at the beginning and in the middle, and wow, people put in ads, 3 or 4 times during the video, and it runs an ad, and it's like, wow, what world is this? In the gun video world, it's like a morgue out there. It's just the video for the most part. It's rare to see an actual video advertisement, So anyway, that money is going away, as you know. And ads or videos are demonetized right on down the line. I get emails every week. Oh, this video has been demonetized. This one. When I say demonetized, I mean limited or no ads, which is basically the same thing. And so anyway, they really, we know this for a fact, in terms of people we've spoken with. They are actually helping people figure out how to get sponsors and things, get support outside of YouTube. They realize it's going away, at least for gun videos, and probably some others too. They're very sensitive about their advertisers, of course, which makes some sense. It makes a lot of sense. It's just that, we in the firearms community have a problem with that, because if Chevrolet, for example, doesn't want to advertise or have a gun, they don't want to advertise on a firearms video, we have a little problem with that, just generally, don't we? What's wrong with that? But they want to stay out of controversial topics, so I guess it's understandable, even though we don't really understand it. We don't like it, at least, okay? So anyway, we picked up a new sponsor, a long way around the barn there. Believe it or not, Talon Grips, and you may already know it. You've seen the ads at the end, and yeah, we're just delighted because I discovered Talon Grips a long time ago. Some of you know this story because I've talked about it in early radio shows or something, videos, I don't know. My gosh, what year would it have been? You know those early videos where I shot the 230-yard videos? We haven't done that for a while. I need to do it again, see if I can still hit it. But from 230 yards at the gong, it's actually over here, kind of where I am, in this part of the place. And we shot at it with, a Glock 27, my Model 29, what else? 3 or 4 different guns. I think it was a 27. But anyway, I think I mentioned Talon Grips in one of those videos and had them on the gun. I used to use the sandpaper type. And but anyway, they were at that time, the original owner was, I think, just making them in his bedroom, cutting them out with an X-Acto knife or something, you know, and they have grown a lot since then, you know, and we hope we played a role in that or whatever, but it was just strictly random, you know, because how did that go? You know, I've told the story, so go back to one of those videos and you'll get the truth. I almost have forgotten exactly how it came about. I think he contacted me, Derek, and he sent me a set or two, I think. Asked if he could send them, and I think he sent them. And they laid around a while, because I don't want to mess with my guns and put grips on it. And then one day I did, I believe is how that went. I put them, I'm not lying, you know. It's kind of funny, you have to tell a story 2 or 3 times, and if I get this wrong, it's not because I'm making it up, it's because, or I made it up, it's because I don't remember now, it's been so long, but I think that's how it went. I'll have to find my video and see, back when I could remember exactly how it went, but I think he sent me a couple, they laid around, I finally put them on a gun I wasn't carrying, because I wasn't sure I'd like it, and I, yeah, that feels pretty good, you know, I like that. And so I went on his site and ordered, I think, like 10 pairs. I put them on several firearms, and I just kind of fell in love with them. Okay, and I used grip tape, and I still have used other kinds of tapes. I wrap it around, and Frankenstein guns, as you've seen. But you know, usually the Talon Grips are under it or over it. You know, because I underestimated how good it would feel to have just a one-piece thing. I really did. And there's some other companies that make them, but they just feel so good to have that one piece. And so anyway, I've been using them forever, as you know. You see it in videos. They've got a lot of free plugs, and just like the stuff. They've sent us a few sets here and there. You know, they work. But anyway, now they're a sponsor, and thought I'd let you know. And we appreciate them. We welcome them. We welcome them, as we do all of our sponsors. We have been very fortunate, and that's why I do this, kind of give you some of the inside baseball, you know, get to know me better so you'll know to go somewhere else. You can either become a hater or you can just quit watching because, oh my God, I don't like that guy as much as I thought I did, you know, but I'm sure that happens, you know. But anyway, we appreciate all of our sponsors, and we're so lucky, as I was about to say before I rudely interrupted myself. You know, our task has always been to stay, of course, objective and independent, and that makes it a little bit harder pulling in, you know, help from outside, and because, you know, we've turned down a lot of offers from gun companies. You know, well, how are we going to take money from a gun company when we review, quote unquote, if that's what you want to classify them as? We review guns. I'll use review just for lack of a better term. We share opinions about firearms. So how can we do that? Oh man, we've had some offers, some opportunities, but it would just shut us down for what we do. You know, it would be just a fake channel. We would be a shill or a sellout, like people like to throw those terms around. Don't even know what they mean. Just haters, you know, it's just stupid. It shows their lack of education. But we would be a sellout or a shill, you know, if we were taking money from Glock or Ruger or anybody. You know, so we've been fortunate though, through being selective and careful and not having sponsors or as many as we would like, as much support as we could easily have, you know, having millions of subscribers, you know, because they're always beating on the door. Everybody is, you know, every accessory company and gun companies and everybody. But we've been very selective and say no 9 out of 10 times, of course, or more, to be able to work with companies that that, well, simply there's just nothing we review, and that's the main criteria. You know, we can't accept help from a company that makes something we review. You know, duh, right? We don't review gun grips. If I were in the process of comparing grip tape products and that kind of thing all the time, you know, we couldn't accept that. If I was reviewing ammo and always, well, now this Winchester does this and this Federal does this and this Hornet is this way and the Federal's better or the Winchester's better, we wouldn't be able to accept help from them. Same with Bud's Gun Shop. We reviewed gun shops. If we reviewed online gun shops, you know, we couldn't accept help from that. If we reviewed gun rights organizations, yeah, we could not accept help from one, right? I belong to all of them, so you know I'm not going to bash one and love the other one. And even if I have opinions about some of the things we do, like for example with grip tape, if we accept help from a company, even if it might have been that maybe down the road, yeah, maybe we'll do a comparison of something. You know, it's not a part of what we do really, but maybe we were going to do a video that's a comparison between, let's say years ago, we had on the to-do list, let's compare Winchester with Federal, some piece of ammo or something, and see which one is more reliable or whatever it might be. Well, that puts us out of that business. We can't do it. We have no credibility comparing Winchester ammo with Federal ammo, right? You know, comparing gun rights groups, comparing the GOA or the Second Amendment Foundation with the NRA and vice, all that kind of stuff. We have no credibility comparing them, which is better and all that. Let all the goofballs, haters out there do that, right? Support them all, you know, when it comes to gun rights. But so anyway, just to let you know our thinking on that. You know, it's a simple thing. I spent way too long trying to explain it. You just don't. If you're trying to be objective about things, you don't accept help from any entity that you review. Now, I know that's kind of unique in the firearms world and boating and fishing and everything else. If you watch the media, you know, almost in any regard, you know, as soon as they're telling you about a Ruger rifle, here comes a Ruger commercial. You know, they're sponsored by that. Or if it's fishing, it's all commercial. You know, commercials and commercially driven, right? So anyway, we've kind of carved out a niche, and we're proud of that. You know, so. It's what makes it funny and ironic. You know, you still have haters, which duh, you're going to have, right? No matter what you do. And when you do, it's somebody that, for example, again, people throw around those stupid terms like sell out and shield. Yeah, really. Look those up. Look what they mean. You know, we look at it, what we do is more of a TV show kind of thing, and you know, we're going to have sponsors with the number of viewers we have. What was I going to say? I just drew a blank. There was something about the sponsors, and oh well, I'll come back to it. How's that? But anyway, we're really happy to have the support we have from those companies that we have, because it's a tricky business, and we have some other inquiries and people we're looking at, and a couple. Well, we don't really have much room. We don't have any room, really. We have about all the support we can stand that we can support, but we might have some other things we could do. We don't want to disrupt our show and what we do, you know, just minimally, you know. And if people can't accept that, okay. But you know, we probably devote. The beginning of the video, 20 seconds, you know, max, and 20-minute video, 30-minute video. So anybody that complains about that must not be involved in media or ever seen anything on TV or anywhere, YouTube or anywhere, as far as that goes. So anyway, we're really happy with where we are right now. And like I was about to say, we have a company we're kind of looking at, again, that's not, the reason I say excited is there's so many companies in the firearms industry that would like to, you know, do something with us that we can't, you know. And then companies outside the industry are often wary of firearms videos. You know, even if they like what we do, they're still wary about being associated with firearms, you know. And part of that is because on YouTube, especially, where you have more freedom, there are some real goofballs. There's some idiots, let's face it, right? So if there is a company or some outfit that we like, respect, and there's no problem with them, and there's no conflict with what we do, and there's a chance that we work something out, it's kind of neat. So we look at all of it. We look carefully at anybody we support. We're not going to support anybody that we don't support. Okay, we're not going to let them support us if we don't support them. See? And with every company that we work with, I have supported them generally before they even supported us, and so it works out great. All right, what else? What was I going to talk about? Well, yeah, again, the haters, you're going to have them, and we're going to have them. And the cool thing about being in media for the number of years we've been doing this is I've learned a lot. Because I know at the beginning I thought it was strange, when you do a video, put up a video that's just totally innocuous, it shouldn't offend anybody, and all of a sudden here comes people being offended by something, or people really upset about what you're doing, or the way you're doing it, or whatever it might be. And then later, the way you're doing things, how you're getting guns, or whatever it might be, or how you're making money, or or the fact you're making money, the people that hate you on that, there's no end to that. So just a little advice to people. Again, we have so many new viewers and people of all ages. Do what you want to do. Figure out what it is that hopefully you have figured out your philosophy in life. Here I'll become philosophical, the old wise shooter here, right, that I am, or that I wish I were. Figure out what you like to do, in life, and what you want to do with your life. If you're 15, 16, or 22, whatever your age is, or 42, and just do it. And make sure kind of you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing. You're doing something ethical. And you're true to yourself. You're true to your family. You're true to your goals, your objectives. You're not hurting anybody, and do it. And if you get good at it, or you get some, attention, or maybe it's in the media, everybody's in the media now on some level, whether it's Facebook or YouTube or something, and doing a part of whatever they're involved in probably, do not worry about the haters, okay? Don't let the tail wag the dog, because you're going to find people coming out of the woodwork that won't like what you're doing. And they may not just dislike it, they just need something to hate on, okay? And a lot of it comes out of envy and jealous. If you're pretty good at something, if you do something well, you got off your butt and did something, those people still sitting on their butts are going to be there to hate on you. So don't let that ever detract you from your goals, really. Do what you do. Not to sound like Teddy Roosevelt, but the people in the arena, there's people in the arena, and there's people over here, the critics. And there's always room and need for critics, but there's two kinds of people in the world. The people who divide everything into two groups, and those who don't. As a joke. No, there are two kinds of people, really. You can divide them this way. You can divide people lots of ways, right? Imbeciles who sit in the woods talking to cameras, and no, two kinds of people that are doing stuff, and then the people who are just watching them and critiquing them, okay? People who are not doing anything, and they're just critiquing. They're just being the critics of the people who are doing something. You all probably listen to sports or see it, ESPN and all that. And I do. I like to see what people and analysts think about the March Madness, or whatever, the football playoffs and different players and that kind of thing. But I always remind myself, these guys, gals, or whatever, they're on the court, they're out there on the field, they're working out every day and lifting weights in the weight. They're going through a grueling workouts and doing the best they possibly can. These jokers sitting in the studio are making a lot of money just picking at them and all that kind of thing. That it's just two totally different universes. There really are. And those people on the field generally just don't care, what they're having to say. And I've been in both those universes, and I've been, played college basketball, and my first taste of that was I had one of my professors who did kind of local color, or what you call it, color commentating, for the games, and people would tell me sometimes how he would be critical of me in some areas and different things. And I'm like, what? Is this teacher I liked? And I thought he was being unjustifiably critical about something too. So anyway, it was bizarre. But generally, you don't know what people are saying about you because you're doing stuff. You're doing stuff, and you never want to let that deter you or detract you, from what you're doing. Generally, it's people who can't do what you're doing, or they're too lazy to do what you're doing, or they don't have the talent, they don't have the wherewithal. Not their fault necessarily. Maybe they don't have even the interest in doing what you're doing. They would rather do what they're doing, is just sit and critique you, But don't let that deter you from what you're doing. Make sure you're right. You're doing something that makes sense. You might deserve a lot of criticism, but just I just know there are a lot of people who shy away from doing something because of that sometimes, and that's nothing you would ever want to do. Because man, in these days of social media and everything, man, you could be bullied if you're 16 years old and you're thinking about something, you want to travel a swim team or whatever, and you've never even done it, and all your friends are on you. Did you hear about Johnny? He's going to try out the swim, man. He couldn't. He doesn't even have any muscles. How's he going to swim? Just whatever it might be, and then you just shy away from it. Well, slink back into the corner. No, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. So that's my advice to you, young folks, or you old folks. Ignore that kind of stupid stuff. It's not middle school. I use the line about middle school, and how around the internet, of course, social media, YouTube, you have I call them drama channels, or middle school drama channels, or tabloid channels, and that kind of thing. People trying to get attention somehow, because they don't really do anything or offer anything. That's just gonna always be there. And the best advice is totally ignore it. Just like if you're in middle school, ignore those people. I taught middle school for a long time, and I saw this firsthand, that kind of behavior. So I'm kind of a pro at that, at least a pro at observing it and trying to limit it. But it was just the strangest thing. Human nature is something else. I mean, it really is. I witnessed a lot of otherwise good kids, these are like 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, just gang up on people for no reason, either through, mostly it's psychological, it just was perplexing to me, because most of the time it would be some really, really neat kid that would be the target of this. That's what was so perplexing and hard to fathom and figure out. You understand if some youngster or adult or whoever is just really unusually ugly or something, has just really crazy ways about them. They're obviously going to be the target of bullies and that kind of thing. Unfortunately, you limit that too. Hopefully you're mature enough you don't fall into that. But quite often that's not the case. It's just somebody, and it's someone who is kind of just doing the right thing, doing their business. It's just that they're not part of the little social chatter silliness. And they don't maybe handle that first piece of criticism well, and it's amplified. But it's really a weird thing and perplexing. It bothered me, and I really watched for it and tried to minimize it and stamp it out as a kind of a goal when I was teaching. You can't be in a locker room and everywhere the kids are, but it's just a piece of human nature. It really is. It's sad. So anyway, middle school, how to get off of that. What else was I going to talk about that you don't care about? Let me check my time. I guess most of you, well, probably a lot of you don't know. How long have I been doing this? Too long. I used to not talk about it much, especially when I was doing it, because there are some weirdos on the internet but I did teach, for 29 years, and a lot of it was in middle school. And I was back when I was doing that. It's been like 6 years. I was always fearful that, people would, of course, find out where I teach and just, just maybe find out kids' names or something, and there's just people are sick and weird out there. And so I always protected the school where I taught by not ever saying the name of the school and all that. And plus, it was a private school, and we had a lot of celebrity kids there and different things anyway. But I did, I taught middle school for the most of my teaching career because I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I loved that age group and had a good time. It's why I have so much insight into middle school behavior. Yeah, I see it in adults, even myself. But yeah, I taught English, and I used to not admit to that. Not because I'm necessarily a grammar Nazi. I fell in love with that field through the literature. When I was in college, I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to major in, but I knew that I was enjoying literature a lot more than I ever had. And wow, reading Whitman and Emerson and Thoreau and Faulkner, any number of the great writers in the actually lower division courses, I just felt I had great teachers and professors, and you know what, I'm going to major in English and I would like to teach it. I think, that's what led me to the direction. You never know what you're going to want to do or like to do. I was a late bloomer, still waiting to bloom actually, and that's what I did. So for those who don't know that, now you got something else to hate me for, because you probably have an English teacher back along the way that you hate, or maybe you hate all your English teachers. Because it's just not something you've ever been good at. And I was just average, really. In high school, I had an interest in it. I always liked the literature part of it. But I was not a stellar student in high school. Like I said, I was a late bloomer. And I was busy growing, I think, and maturing a little bit. And I didn't really come into my own until I was about a sophomore in college, both in basketball and in academically. I was just a late bloomer. So you might be in the same boat if you're young. So just hang in there. It'll come, maybe. But anyway, yeah, I taught English and I had a great time. It was I don't know if you've ever read the book by Robert Pirsig, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I brought that up before. It's not about motorcycles really. And I've had a Harley, but that came long after that book became my favorite book. I read it in '81, I think, for the first time. I think it came out in mid or late '70s. But it's an interesting book. Let's put it that way. If you like to read, you like to think, you enjoy philosophy, you couldn't hate it. It may not be your favorite, but it just really touches. People had recommended it to me for a period of years. So I think you'd like that. And after I read it, then I realized those were compliments that they thought I would like it. But it's an interesting book, and in that book he talks about quality, and quality of life, and defining quality and different things. And you'd have to read it, but it occurs to me at my advanced age how I've been very, very fortunate in most of my life. I say most of it, not all of it, but most of my life I've been able to enjoy a lot of quality and be a part of a lot of quality. And by that, what I mean is I was able to, in college, to study the great writers and thinkers, for several years, and spend a lot of my days and nights writing papers and reading the great writers of all time, who are the great thinkers of all time, right? Whether the American or the English writers or whoever, Shakespeare, and sit in classes. I took several Shakespeare classes. Okay, think about that. I know it seems like a waste of time if you majored in business and you were studying accounting, but I learned to build spreadsheets later. I can do that. and do accounting. I have to do more of that than I want and like, really. But I spent a lot of days and a lot of my time sitting in classes studying and discussing Shakespeare and studying for exams that are about nothing but Shakespeare. Okay, you know, or whoever, or Emerson, you know, studying poetry and novels, and took all those classes, contemporary novels, and you used to name American novels, and reading them, writing about them, and thinking about what those people had to say, you know. And then I spent 29 years teaching that, turning around and teaching that, among other things, you know, you have the grammar and the writing, but teaching those same great thinkers, sharing, not teaching probably, sharing those same genius thinkers with young people every day. And whether it was To Kill a Mockingbird or it was something simpler, The Giver, or whatever we might have been reading. You know, like I say, Dickinson, it's great poetry, some great books. I was able to choose the novels for the most part and different things. And even within the textbook, the stories and the poems that we would read, and I'd bring in poetry. So I was able to choose what I thought were the best for that age group, and also to stretch them a little bit, you know. And to me, that's quality of life, you know, when you can deal with that kind of thing on a daily basis for that many years. That's what I mean. I've been able to live a life of quality in a lot of ways, where I didn't have to work, go to a factory, and punch on a widget every day on an assembly line or something, you know, which is fine too. That doesn't keep you from reading Shakespeare when you get off work, you know, or thinking about something different, right? But I've been very, very fortunate. And anyway, that is a lot of my background that I've never really shared with you, I guess. Some of you knew it, but it's really, really cool being able to do that, to spend time, you know, doing that in my life, so much of it. And in this project, I consider most of it a quality endeavor, you know. Again, I'm not going if I were retired, which I ought to be, I guess, I can sit on a porch and read or travel and do different things, but I really enjoy firearms, and I get to experiment with a variety of firearms, as you know, and shoot them. And I do it on as much as I want, basically. And so, yeah, I'm extremely fortunate to have lived a life like I have. So what, you know, if it ends tomorrow, so be it, man. I've been very, very, very lucky. Now, by the same token, you kind of make your own luck. You know, you make your own luck. I would not have been able to major in English without some motivation, because I was not a stellar student. I talked with the head of the department, Dr. Ed Irwin, great guy at Austin Peay, where I went, and he was a great guy, and he kind of talked me into it, and which was amazing, because I was in his class already for a class or two, and I told him the things I felt I wasn't good at, and I just asked him if I was really stupid for even thinking about it, and he gave me the motivation to just go ahead and do it, man, go for it, and I did, and it did take a lot of work. It took a lot of work, and like most things, you know, it doesn't come easily, but and I've done a lot of other things. When I say quality, I have done painting. Here, while I'm sharing my biography, I've done a lot of painting all through the summers in high school, contracted, did by the hour, then I'd contract. Even in college, I would contract and you know, people's houses. I would just, mainly people's houses, inside, outside. I would give them a price and go paint. Made good money for years doing that in summer. You know, messy work, hot work, you know, washing my hands with gasoline, you know, every day, which I shouldn't have been doing, and just you know, all of that. So I've had a lot of experiences, and a lot of it. I worked in construction a lot, and in 2 or 3 different summers, and man, I did some really tough work, building foundations and cement, concrete foundations, and building the forms, and hardest work I ever did. So anyway, I've seen the bad side, I've seen the good side of working, and whatever your career endeavors, you know, might be. And thought I'd share that with you. I don't know. So anyway, back to the topic, if I have any time left, of guns. We've been having some fun, a couple of minutes, fun with guns, as usual, and we'll be having more. We had an old 1911 out, did a video with an original 1911, made in 1918. What else? Been shooting some Glocks, been shooting, speaking of Talon Grips, the Glock 48 there. I bought one, if I've told you that yet, but we'll do a chapter 2, and I'll tell you, pretend you don't know right now, okay? Now in this one, it's kind of thin, it's not hot. I put 2 sets of Talon Grips on it, so that's the Frankenstein in that particular pistol. But I think we kind of shared in the original video, the 43X in John 2, that both of us kind of like this one better than the 43. And the Glock 19 is kind of the ultimate pistol. But this is just something neat about it. It's lighter and thinner, and I just have a place for it. It's so simple to carry around sometimes. I don't know. I may change my mind, but I just like it. It's pretty cool. What else was I? Oh yeah, we've done a 1917 Enfield. Believe it or not, we got that back out. You folks have been asking about that, and I found it in the back of the safe. I haven't shot it for a long time, and that is such a cool rifle. The only reason I don't shoot it more and get it out, I get out firearms, believe it or not, when you're not here, I'll just drag out an .03 Springfield. Quite often it's a bolt gun. If I'm going on a hike or just to take a few shots of something, I don't as often get out an AR for that. I'll get out an .03 Springfield or the Mauser, Swiss Mauser, the Swedish Mauser, or just the K98, and just prowl around, take a few shots with it, and I just enjoy that. I don't get out the Enfield, the American Enfield, the 1917, as often, and I've got it out where I can get to it now. I'm going to get it out more often. The bolt on it being kind of crooked back, if you know what I'm talking about, it comes back, it really is like right against my knuckle. So I really have to watch how I grab that thing, put my hand on the stock and the trigger and everything, or it'll pop me. And it's just the way that's really the only negative. It's a really nice rifle, no doubt about it. What else have we been shooting? We got some things coming up, and with black powder. Did a little black powder. Going to do some more black powder. Now the spring is here. I've been waiting for spring because I love to do the black powder thing, as you know, and just as much as I enjoy the modern firearms. So again, if you're new to the channel, if you've browsed around much, you can tell that we do a variety of things. It's not a marketing decision. It's just the way I've always been. If you could, I should write an autobiography, I guess. Maybe a couple of you be interested, or do a video autobiography. If you could go back into the 1970s with me, you would see that, let's say from 73 to 81 or something, you would see I had a 2 or 3 muzzle loaders, Hawken rifles. I had Smith & Wesson revolvers. I had 1911s. I had a Browning high power. What else? I had shotguns, and I had a full automatic Uzi. All right. And then in the early 80s, there I had a full automatic Uzi I bought legally, of course, and kept it for 10 years. I had an HK 93, is it? The one that's 5.56? Yeah, 93. The 91's the 308, yeah. The 93 was my first black rifle. It had a collapsible stock. And I bought those in like 1980, 81. Yeah. So going all the way back, like 40 years or so, 50, that diversity has always been there in my brain. I just live and breathe diversity. Yeah, I'm so enlightened. I'm woke, as they say, right? Oh man, I am so pop culture, aren't I? But I've just always liked a variety of firearms, from the 70s to the 80s or right on through, and today. It's nothing that we do just to pull in viewers from a different demographic, put it that way. We just do firearms we like. try to review some of the new guns and then old guns I just happen to like, have bought, or whatever it might be. So hope you hang around if you're new and kind of get a flavor. Like a lot of things, you probably want to look at a few videos and get an idea. I realize a lot of the comments you see are from new people. They don't understand things, and they go ahead and comment. Never hesitate to comment, right? Whether you know what is going on or not. And so they might, again, seem clueless because they still are. You need to bounce around and see different videos, and then you begin to get an idea about people, right? So it's something I've said before. I never understood people. Well, it's understandable someone's still kind of ignorant of what you're doing, what you're about, but it still perplexes me, people that come to a video and leave like hateful remarks about things, and I don't, it's just a different mindset, I guess. Of all the videos I've ever watched on YouTube, I guess it's just hard to understand people who are far different from yourself. That's what it comes down to. Of all the videos I've watched on YouTube over the years, I've never been motivated to leave a hateful remark. Even back when no one would have known who I was. I just, it's like, why? If I see someone I don't like, a video I don't like, or something about that, if say it's boring, it's just boring, okay, that's enough of that. You can try to remember that name so I don't click on that video person again. Even if it's something really hateful and crazy or something like that, my reaction, what am I doing here? I'm not going to, well, let me comment real quick and tell that person what an idiot he is. It's just funny how people are. It really is. Because I'm kind of a live and let live. I still don't understand some of the hate that we get. Well, I do, philosophically and psychologically. I understand how people are. And as I've said before, fully admitting, there is no doubt that I would be extremely envious of me, as I've said before. And I guess that sounds arrogant, but I would, as I've been saying before. I just talked to you about the life of quality in this project and how fortunate we are. I talk about that a lot. I would be envious. My gosh, if I don't know, say 8 years ago or whatever, I started watching videos on YouTube, messing around with it, and if I saw somebody that, wow, look at that guy, he's got a place to shoot. He's kind of ugly, but he's got a place to shoot. I'm like, no, you kidding me? He's got a company giving him all the ammo he wants. He's got sponsors to do that. He gets to go out and just shoot any gun he wants. He's got a gun shop that sends him almost any firearm he wants to review and experiment with. I mean, this is bizarre. Where'd he have all this luck? That's not fair. So I don't care if he is ugly. So I would be envious. I mean, the difference is, I think I've always been, I don't know, I've had that a little bit better perspective. If I see somebody that's driving a Rolls Royce, I don't get envious and hateful. I think that's pretty cool. If that's something I want, maybe I could achieve that someday. That's kind of my reaction to something like that. Or if I was watching some dummy on YouTube that's sponsored and got ammo companies sending him ammo and everything else, my reaction would not be to hate and leave a hateful comment. It would be, wow, I wonder if that's possible for me to do, And if I didn't end up being able to do it, I still would not be hateful towards that person. So, I don't know. That's just me. I'm not perfect, but I'm just not a hateful enough person. I got to work on that, because I guarantee you I could find something to hate on. I really could. In fact, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to go say, who could I do? 10 Outdoors 9. I'm going to start watching his videos again. And Such 00. Such a nice guy. I'll bet you if I watched a bunch of his videos today, I could drum up some hate for him. I could figure out a reason to hate him, right? He gets all that gear. He just has too much fun, man. He gets to shoot a lot too. And he's not as ugly as I am. There you go. I could hate on him for that. No, let's I joke about all that, but it would be nice if people were a little bit more mature, wouldn't it? Yeah, because it really, it just brings out the envy and the immaturity in people, doesn't it? That's probably the reason, from a selfish standpoint, I would not leave a hateful comment, because it's like holding up a billboard. I'm envious of you, or I have no self-esteem, or please, everybody look at me. You know, I mean, yeah, and I don't want people to realize that I have such low self-esteem. I can't speak. That I have such low self-esteem and that I'm filled with envy. I don't want people to know that, so I'm going to hide it and not leave a hateful remark. So really, it's not that I'm so mature. It's just I'm smart enough to not reveal my true being, right? So, you know what? I got off on so many stupid topics today. I had 4 or 5 things I was going to talk about, and I got off onto my biography, which a lot of you don't care about, but some of you do, you know, and that's why I do this. So I promise the next time I'll talk more about firearms. How's that? I want to give a shout out to a group of women that meet. They used to be affiliated with the Well-Armed Woman, you know, but now they're kind of their own group. I forget what they call themselves, some kind of social group. But they meet out in Franklin at a range every, I think, once a month. And they wanted me to come talk to them. Believe that, yeah. And I did, and it was a great night. You know, I took along some firearms and just talked to them about some of the same things I talked with you all about, how difficult it is to choose, and that never goes away. You know, which firearm is best, and you know, to carry, and all the smaller firearms, and how I change about once every 6 months myself. So don't worry about it. It's the same for all of us. It's once you learn to shoot better, then you decide you want something different, or this one doesn't carry like you thought it would. It's heavier than you thought it would. It was, and you find something you like better. And how that goes. But yeah, that was a pleasant evening, and shout out to them, Trish and Cindy and that group. They were a nice group. So I don't do that very often. Occasionally they were close by, and we get invitations to go all over the country to do things like that, to meet and greets at gun shows, and to talk to groups. I don't know why they'd want me to talk, but you know, it's just not what we do. We make videos mainly, and we're not a traveling band, even though we do some travel. Ellen, speaking of that, before I wrap up, we will be doing some meet and greets at the. We're doing one this summer at a gun show. I'll update you on that. Not a show, a gun shop here in the Nashville area this summer that has been asking us for about 2 years to do that. But we're going to be in Indianapolis at the NRA meeting. We always go to that, and we have meet and greets there at Federal and SDI, and at the Buds combination NRA Firearms for Freedom booth. So, and that's all in the descriptions as I speak. Okay, the times and for all that. So hopefully you're going to that. If you live anywhere in this part of the country, as I always said, the NRA annual meeting is like the best gun show, you know, on the planet, other than SHOT Show, and most of you can't get into it. But this one is just for regular folks, and anybody can get in virtually. So try to get there. It is what is it? The last weekend in April? Yeah, kind of, I think. And it's in Indianapolis, Indiana. All right. So we don't have to travel quite as far to this one. And we'll be there. It's always a good show, whether you're an NRA member or not. I think you have to, I forget what it is. I think it has changed. You have to either join up or pay if you're not a member to go to it. I forget what it is. But, of course, as always, we encourage you to join the NRA and all the gun rights groups, okay? And there's another place where, you know, you get hate. That's okay. Hate all you want to. I am not probably going to ever change my opinion on anything at this point, right? You know, and by the way, in the last Shooting the Breeze, I was talking about that little hypothetical I set up, and I got a couple of people, you know, thought I was becoming the ultimate compromiser or something. I was really not telling you what I would do. I was trying to explain mainly to the people that have all these crazy conspiracies about the NRA, okay? How people really aren't the NRA or any of the other gun rights organizations are not secretly trying to promote gun control, okay? They're not secretly trying to be exactly the opposite of what they are. I know that's a news flash, right? And that's how some of that kind of thing, can be misinterpreted by people who don't know. If you're actually so involved and you actually do have a seat at the table, like most gun right groups don't, then it kind of looks like that. Oh, you wrote all those bills to ban this and ban that. Okay, but I'm not going to get into all that. People are going to believe what they want to believe, and that's just the way it is. Man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. That famous philosopher, Paul Simon. Okay, and I know what I believe and I know what I think, and I stick by what I think until I have enough evidence to think differently on something. And so it's just the way it is. But I got off on that again, didn't I? But anyway, we mainly make videos. We shoot. We don't take any kind of help from anybody that we review. As I say, no entity that we review. And we stay objective and independent. And that's just the way it is. That's the way it's always going to be. All right? We appreciate the comments. One of the most common compliments that we get. Maybe I should start with the most common hate comments we get, but one of the most common compliments personally and in person we see all, and in Facebook and around and on YouTube as well, is just people that appreciate the honest reviews, and people who have sense, common sense, can see that. I think even if I'm wearing a Glock hat in the old videos, or I'm always bringing in a Glock, whatever I'm doing, I'm pretty good at that myself. I can see through people very easily. I ain't that smart, but I can see through people and their motivations quite often, most of the time. And most of you probably are. You're kind of like that. You can tell when somebody's being honest or not. Even if they're bashing a little bit, like on a Chiapa Rhino or whatever, you can see that I'm trying to be objective about it, even if it's something I don't really like personally, that we're not being like paid by Glock or some company. If you're perceptive at all, you see that, and we hear that a lot, that people just appreciate the objectivity and the honesty, even though I have personal biases, and I don't hide my personal biases. I try not to let them get too much in the way, or else it's can be annoying in a review, and I probably do bring out the Glocks too much. But again, the Glock 19 is kind of the Ford F-150, and so the comparison just makes sense. If I was doing pickup truck reviews, I'd be comparing it with that. Or the standard Chevy, 1500 or whatever it might be. It's just what you do. So anyway, with all this yakking, you kind of know how I think, like I said, and you're welcome to keep watching us, trust what we tell you, or enjoy what we show you, or whatever, or not. That's the approach I always take. And it's just the way life is. There's a lot of choices out there. And we're glad that you choose us, and enough of you watch that we continue doing what we're doing. I can easily retire and just sit on a porch and read Shakespeare and walk out a few steps and shoot when I want to, and just do that, and not do this. But believe it or not, there's a lot more to it than you see, and you probably know that. It dominates my life, from when I get up until I go to bed. But I'm not complaining. If I ever complain, smack me upside the head. But it just the details and the minutia and the bookwork, it's just a lot more than you realize, just like anything. But I'm very fortunate to do it, and I plan to keep doing it, for a while. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, no doubt about it. And you all make it even more fun because you come and watch. And I wish I could answer more of your comments and more of your questions on Facebook. But as you know, don't you, Bill, Larry, George, Sherman, Joyce, whoever, I do answer a lot of them. Okay, I do. But try not to be offended if I don't. I mean, please, there's 4 million subscribers. And it's a constant stream of comments and constant stream of, and a lot of the comments are filtered out because for stupid stuff, horrible language, and everything like that. We're trying to keep it again family friendly as we have from the start. So I don't even see that, but I do skim through Facebook messages, and I skim through comments, and and I try to answer a lot of it, make comments, and we do FAQ videos. But please don't be offended if I don't answer your comment. I'd like to answer everybody, but I need to have a life too. And there was something else about that, some other lie I was going to say. I forgot what it was, but oh yeah, and people have sent things, and so many contacts that I can't even keep up with it all. So I may have a holster, and I don't even remember who sent it to me. It may show up in a video sometime. It's just so many people have been so nice, and it's just hard to give everybody the credit they deserve. It's just that simple. And still keep doing what we're doing, okay? So, anyway, appreciate you all watching. And if you watched all of this, oh boy, as I always say, you're pretty sick. And either that or you're looking for a chance to seize upon something I say, to take it out of context and make me look bad, right? That's all right. That's all right. Everybody's got to have something to do in life, all right? You know what we do in life, and we enjoy doing it. And we wouldn't be able to do it without you all, and so we appreciate you being here. Life is, no, life is not good yet. Why do I do this every time? It's like I do it on purpose. It's part of a shtick or something, right? I've got a remote. Now, y'all saw where I put it. Where did I put it? There's my phone. Is that it in my back pocket? Okay. Where are you, little remote? Up there. What did I do with it? Ah, no wonder I couldn't find it. I dropped it on the ground. Okay, now I can say life is good, and I can secretly click the stop button, and you'll never know the difference. You'll just think I edited it out, because I rendered these myself. All right. Yeah, it has been good talking with you all. And I guess I should feel stupider than I am sitting in the woods like this and talking. But it's just nice being in the woods. And I did bring you with me, right? And again, on the subject of quality, it is nice having woods to sit in, I've had an average income most of my life. I was a teacher 30 years, so I've tried to manage my life well, my finances. I've not driven, $60,000 cars all my life and that kind of stuff. And had big car payments and all those sorts of things. Eating, $80 dinners every night. I have tried to manage my life. A lot of people, I've seen people go, wow, the guy's rich, or the guy's a millionaire, and all this kind of stuff. Well, we make a nice income now, but hey, I was a school teacher for 30 years, so don't give me that stuff, and I've owned this place for 33 years now. So it's a matter of priorities and how you manage your life. If you want woods, don't look at me and at this like that's just totally unattainable. Wow, that guy, how could he do that? Well, it's, I'm not living in the most affluent county, in Tennessee. I picked a place where I could buy some woods and where I could shoot. And, you just plan things. I didn't get this until I was, I was close to 40, I guess, So, everything doesn't come early, it doesn't come at once, So anyway, the woods are nice, and I'm glad you're here with me, and I am glad about having some woods as well. They have been fun. I have enjoyed these woods for 33 years. I'm enjoying them right now. In fact, you just can't get rid of me, can you? Life is good.